Order at 5:30. Please note that trustee Wing is absent today. And for the agenda, item 13U is being moved to a future agenda. May I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I'll move.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-4 with one absence. And with that, we will convene to closed session.
Okey-dokey.
this, but we've gone,
at 6:05.
not like we're at the speedway, so, but there's no trees there.
Okay, no report for closed sessions, so we will have the flag salute.
Yes.
Ready, begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a pencil and a pen?
Okay, next on our agenda is item 6, employment, approval of the employment agreement for Chief Business Officer.
Yes, good evening, everyone. So CBOs generally have contracts when they work for school districts, and we want to make sure that our CBO sticks around. So we are asking for the approval of his employment agreement. It's a 3-year agreement. There's no fiscal impact for us, but puts in writing our agreement with his work.
Any questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the employment agreement for Chief Business Officer?
I move.
In a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No,
Roll call.
Oh, that's right, it's roll
Roll
call.
call.
Trustee Brown,
Yes?
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Nelson.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, item 8, student board member reports. Tonight, sitting in for Haley is Tyler Kwong.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Tyler Kwong, if you didn't catch my name. I am a junior and I am the student body vice president and I am filling in for Haley today. Okay, there. Okay, so first we're gonna start off with student culture. Recently, this past December, we had our winter airband rally. The theme was MTV Holiday Edition, and we had choir singing the national anthem. We announced our spring captains for sports and watched and performed airbands with our classes, and we had a special teacher recognition at the end. Our class airbands, during our rally, we had 4 different class airbands. Each grade were tasked to put together a performance in which they did a skit which correlates to a theme which they picked. The themes were based off Christmas movies. So freshmen had The Grinch, sophomores had Polar Express, juniors had Home Alone, and seniors had Elf. And the winners of the airband, of course, were seniors. Second place juniors, third place sophomores, and fourth place freshmen. Personally, I think that the juniors won because I was in that one. The week of December 16th through the 20th was the Winter and Airband Spirit Week. Monday was Snow Gear. Tuesday was Jersey or Jersey Shore. Wednesday was Dress as your favorite movie or TV character. Thursday was Music Genre Day, and Friday was Festive Friday. This past November through December, we held our canned food drive. Rancho donated over 10,000 pounds of food to NOAA, Neighbors Organized Against Hunger. We accepted non-perishable foods only. We did not accept any glass, animal food, ramen, water, or homemade goods. And during the rally, 5 teachers' classes who donated the most amount of canned food were announced were announced, as well as grade levels who donated the most amount of food. The top 5 teachers who brought in the most donations were: first place, Miss Basinger, brings in over 17,000 pounds. Second place, Mr. Anderson, who brought in more than 1,100 pounds. Third place, Mr. Richardson, who brought also more than 1,100 pounds. Fourth place, Miss Bays, 700 pounds. Fifth place, Mr. Henderson, over 200 pounds. And the winning grade level, the winning grade levels were: first place seniors, second place freshmen, third place sophomores, fourth place juniors, and fifth place staff. Last week, Rancho held a pizza party for the winning class of the canned food drive. The class that donated the most cans was Miss Basinger's, and there were pizzas, cookies, Capri Suns provided. Congratulations to this class. The California Scholarship Federation held their second Cookies and Cram this year on January 14th. Students were able to come in last minute studying for quarter 2 finals with friends while snacking on cookies and juice. Our finals were held last week on January 15th and 16th, and congratulations to all the students who completed their finals. Now on to recognitions and appreciations. Our staff spotlight this week is Miss Casper. Congratulations to her. We appreciate everything that she does for the Rancho community. Our talents of the week are Abby Zabetta and Marshall Lemons. And our athletes of the week are Ian McCampbell and Adam Pengel. It's this month is Staff Appreciation Month, and the month of January is dedicated to our office staff. We thank them for all the support they provide to students at Rancho. Sonoma County's Teacher of the Month was Miss Munsky, and it was a surprise announcement at the rally. She does not only teach math and leadership, but she also provides a safe environment for students to feel heard. So congratulations to her, and we appreciate all that she does for the school. Now on to some upcoming events that Rancho has. ASB is holding a pasta feed on January 24th. Adult tickets are being sold for $17, and children's tickets are being sold for $12. There's also a dessert and silent auction benefiting ASB's trip to Disneyland for a leadership training in April. If you'd like to purchase tickets, please talk to me after the meeting. Unity Week is right around the corner. February 11th to the 14th, Rancho Cotati's highly acclaimed week celebrates diversity through presentations and performances. Our first ever winter formal was just announced to be held on February 8th from 7 to 10 p.m. The dance is a turnabout dance, meaning the roles of who asks who to homecoming are reversed. Step Up is coming up on February 5th to the 6th. Leadership students will help be tour guides to 8th grade classes coming in for tours around the school. Thank you for your guys' time. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Tyler. And joining us by video is Sam O'Halloran.
Wait.
Wait.
How can you leave and not sell me a ticket? Come here. You have two, you can't leave without me buying a ticket. Because, come over here. I need 2 tickets. I know this is not part of the agenda, but
How much are they?
17.
Anyone else? Anyone else? $17 pasta fee this Friday, the 24th. Come on down. Venmo, Cash App.
So take that, that's for 2 tickets. Don't worry about the change, and then bring me back 2 tickets.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Would anyone else like to buy a ticket? I'm sorry to take.
Yeah,
That's
I'd
Fri-
like one.
Friday night
I'd
at
like-
what
do you have
time?
$3 change?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Can we buy online?
I'll take one.
What time Friday night?
It's 5:30 to 7:30.
5:30, 7:30.
Pasta's gonna be very delicious. Pasta, candies,
bet.
catering.
5:30 to 7:30, Friday. It's
Be right back.
amazing. Pasta. Is it Friday?
Yes, this Friday.
This Friday.
Yummy.
He said we could buy tickets, I don't know, I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's like a good idea. I don't want,
Come prepare, if you're gonna be a salesman, you gotta have the product. Here, buy my watch.
Would you like me to wait, or would you like me to start the
yeah,
video?
Sorry for the interruption. Is this our Tech High rep?
Good evening, District Board, Trustees, Superintendent. I'm Sam O'Halloran, and I'm the Technology High School Student Board Representative, and unfortunately, I'm unable to make it to tonight's meeting. However, I decided to make a video report to go on to Technology High School announcements. Winter Formal will be happening at Technology High School. This is a completely student-organized and student-led event. It is our first winter dance in Tech High history, and so we are very excited to host this dance for the entire school. As I said in the past meeting, this was something that was brought up by our student representatives as something that students wanted to see, and ASB has since been taking that on, and we're extremely excited to see what happens at the Winter Formal Dance. Secondly, softball is making a return at Technology High School. This sport was only active 3 years ago, and this is the first year that it's back, and we're very excited for girls to have that new sport option at Tech High. And so far, we've seen positive reports of interest, and so that should be following through in the spring season of sports for Technology High School. In addition to softball, Technology High School will also be having boys volleyball, golf for boys and girls, track and field, as well as tennis, all during the spring season. So it'll be a very busy spring season, and we're excited to see how our student athletes perform. Now, this year's drama class will be performing their spring show, which is Mamma Mia, at the Rancho Tag Building, where you guys are. January 24th through 26th for $10 each, and I highly recommend that you attend it. I've gotten to see a preview at TAC, and it's going to be an excellent show this year. And yes, we're very excited for that, and we're very excited for their second show following Mamma Mia. As we move in towards spring, ASB is looking forward to the election season, where student body president, vice president, public relations officer, treasurer, secretary, and spirit commissioner are all roles up for grab at Technology High School ASB. I'm very excited for elections. We'll see what students pull out for their campaigns to ASB cabinet this year. As for sports at Tech High, the boys varsity, boys JV, and girls varsity basketball teams have all been playing extremely well this season. Both teams are under the advisement of new coaches, which is very exciting. And the girls team has an influx of players, which is also very exciting, given last year they had a lot less. The boys varsity team is also a huge team. Boys varsity basketball has been performing very well this season with a victory against RUP, as well as a valiant effort against Sonoma Academy. That concludes my video report for the board this evening. I hope that you have a good evening, and see you next month.
I have a question. Put it back up on the screen.
We'll bring up the live chat.
Why is this sweatshirt backwards and the
What's that
numbers
mean?
in the screen backwards? What kind of technology?
you have to switch it.
A video selfie, it does it backwards? Okay.
Yeah.
Depending on which way the camera's pointing.
I've never done a selfie, so I'll have to learn.
You can switch it, though.
There is a
It doesn't
toggle
You can flip
switch,
it?
but yeah, you can.
All right, as this technology, Tech High, I thought I was trying to see if I was paying attention or not, so.
And you were, you
I
passed.
was, I was like, well, I'm confused. He's going to the forced error.
Are you ready
School.
to start teaching their
Yeah, right.
presentations there?
Right.
Tech High School?
Next up is trustee report on activities. Trustee Brown.
No activities, but just a couple comments. Tonight in the, what do I call it here? In the consent agenda, we're, in the warrants, where, as we go through that, it wasn't pulled, but under the warrants, just a little history. Our PG&E bill this month is $143,000. And for those of you that haven't been on the board, at one time our PG&E bill was $60,000 a month. So we have, luckily, we have, got a bond issue. And going forward in the future, I just want us to think about when you spend that bond money on buildings like this one, along comes with it, general fund costs to fund things like utilities and maintenance and stuff like that. So I just want us to be, aware of that in the future so that you don't bite off too much ongoing costs for, those projects will go over forever, but when you do build a building like this, it comes with additional, maintenance, additional, electricity, et cetera.
I think we save a little bit on heating in the TAG building.
Yeah, we save a lot on heating.
Every night.
But when we're hosting other sport events, whether it's, for basketball or volleyball, for other things, I don't know that we're probably capturing the actual cost of that. There's some goodwill that goes along with that. But so if I go back to math and 60 versus 140, that's one teacher a month. So that's 12 teachers a year out of the general fund. That's just maybe not a good analysis, but it's just, part of that is probably our PG&E costs going up, and part of it is as we've expanded and reopened schools and facilities like this, it costs money for that. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Trustee
Okay.
Johnson?
Yeah, we had a study session a couple of Tuesdays ago that I really enjoyed in it. I got to learn some things, and so it was time well spent.
Okay, Trustee Nelson?
I appreciate our study session that we had as well, and I did also want to comment on the PG&E just costs. I'm looking forward to hearing how, I know we moved, so we got like NEM 2, right? So looking forward to the report on how that's going.
Great. And I found the special study session on governance very helpful also. Next up, superintendent's report.
All right, good evening again. So we had the governance session led by Babs Kavanaugh, and I really enjoyed that. We got to go through our handbook and talk about our priorities and how we communicate and our processes, and I really appreciated that and appreciated getting feedback from the board. We have been busy hiring a new principal for Monte Vista, and we're in process on that and should be able to make an announcement sometime soon. We are also working on our communication plan, just our protocols and how we communicate on social media and crisis communication and all, just so people have it at the ready, and we'll be sharing that with the board probably in the next couple of months as well. My site visits have been a little disrupted because of the holidays, but I should be getting back on track. We opened the preschool with 8 students. They are working on staffing up, and as soon as they hire more staff, we'll be able to bring in more students, so we're very excited about that. I went to a community schools convening recently, and that was informative. There was discussion about different ways that community schools can support everything from academic achievement to immigration to food, just how community schools really support the community that they serve. And we are going to apply. We applied for 5 last year. We were awarded 1. We're reapplying for the other 4 schools again this year. We won't get it if we don't apply, so we want to be sure that we're throwing our hat in the ring. And it's a great opportunity, and we hope that we're competitive. So that's my report for today. Thank you.
Question?
Oh, and also, no Williams complaints. Thank you.
So question? So the replacement for our principal position, will that person be able to start this year, or will that be for next year?
The hope is that they start this year, yes.
I know if they're, depending upon where they are, and they
Yes.
have to,
Yeah.
it's
We
kind
have a interim in now. Her name is Kathy Olmstead, who was principal there before and retired.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
brought her back to guide the ship until we are able to find the right fit.
Okay,
Yes.
super.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Roanoke Park Katati Educator Association Report. Lisa Baumann, thank you for joining us.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. It seems like it's been a lot longer than a month since we were last here together, and it definitely seems like more than 2 weeks since January 6th, let me tell you that. So on January 6th, we all came back for our district-wide PD. I haven't heard a lot of feedback, but I myself attended both of Laura Moyman's classes on restorative practices, and I found them to be super informative. I got really excited. It was really practical. She's a great presenter. It was very engaging, and hands-on. Like, we got to actually practice some of the stuff, which was one of the comments that I have been hearing about some of the other sessions, is that it wasn't very interactive. But I came away jazzed about trying some of the stuff in my classroom this week even. Last week, I went to one of the online sessions, CSBA's sessions for the governor's January budget. And so, I want to be excited, but as we all know, like, LA County is a pile of rubble right now. So I'm really, just kind of on pins and needles waiting to see what happens between January and May. Maybe something will happen before then so that we don't have to worry. I am starting up site visits again, my next round of site visits this week, starting with Richard Crane on Friday. And I'm really looking forward to doing another round and getting to, face-to-face conversations with even more members. In RIPSIA, we've been really busy. We've been very focused on bargaining. We sent out surveys this morning, and really comprehensive surveys that, we're trying to gather a lot of information, not just on what our members see as, what our bargaining priorities should be, but also how they view their working conditions. In my role as president, I went to our local meeting of CTA presidents and bargaining chairs, that's called SCEC, this month, and we also had our larger group, which goes over into Napa and I think up to Humboldt County. We had that meeting. That's our Redwood Council. It's a really great time for all of us to really hear about more what's going on in the area in education. Chapters share where they are at with bargaining, and also what are the issues that are coming up. And so I will tell you this, so we had 4 breakout sessions last weekend, and the topics were special ed, safety, student behavior and safety, ICE, preparing ourselves for, what might happen on our campuses with our undocumented students and families. And I think the last one might have been bargaining. I don't even know if anyone went to that one. So these are topics that we're all talking about here too, so we're not an anomaly at all. But it's really nice to connect with educators in other districts and other parts of the area. So I also attended a meeting with the district management where we started really trying to get clarity on all the different discipline forms that are out there. Maite, during the course of the meeting, put together a really nice kind of table of what the forms were and what their purposes were, and started to really give us a better perspective of the workflow that's involved with, when something happens on our campus with a student that has, hurt a teacher or hurt another student. And I thought, we still have work to do, but I appreciated the work that we've started. We also have had meet and confer already since we've been back in the last 2 weeks, and there was some really exciting stuff that we talked about there. It's still kind of in the works, but we were really happy to hear that it sounds like SDC classes are going to be distributed amongst all of our elementary schools next year instead of concentrated in 2. That's what we're working for. And also that the district is really listening to us and trying to find creative ways to add additional supports at sites to help out with the discipline issues. As Maite mentioned, that they had principal interviews last week for Monte Vista, and the staff were really grateful to have had input ahead of time. So they had a meeting at the staff. I'm assuming, Jen, you went to that one. And so they got to, express what they felt they needed as a site in terms of a leader. And I also, our monthly meeting of our representative council happened that same day, and the teachers that got to participate in the interviews were really actually very happy with the candidates were there. They were pleasantly surprised, being mid-year, that there's more than one good candidate that they liked. So they're very excited about new change and moving forward. So last week at our representative council meeting, we start out our meetings by going around site to site, and people share their highlights and they share their concerns. So I'm going to start with some of the highlights. It's a big list, so I'll try and summarize some of it. At Richard Crane, they either just, I don't have the date, so I apologize for this. They either just had or about to have a friendship assembly, which sounded really sweet. It's an so the way that they're doing it is instead of, within a class, like teachers from other classes or students from other classes are acknowledging students not in their class, so that it's building more of a sense of community and not just in one classroom, but across the site. They had a Rebounders fundraiser. They got instruments for the band, which everyone is super excited about. And they are getting ready to go on the 5th grade outdoor ed trip, as are all of our campuses. And they are finalizing their PBIS school-wide expectations. Monte Vista, as I mentioned, is just really excited about the changes that are going to be happening this year, hopefully, if a new principal comes in, and also that they're going to get a little bit of a relief from all the SDC classes that they've had on their campus, because it's 6 right now, which is a lot for them. Evergreen had a Star Lab visit, which I guess is like this inflatable planetarium thing. And that was pretty exciting, and I think that is also going to a couple other campuses. Han is having a SpongeBob play. They're getting ready for outdoor ed. They've started music classes. They're super excited about that. And that is with, I believe that's with Ruby, one of our new music teachers that I think, Jamal, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or John, that's Prop 28 money helped with that position.
Nice.
So everyone is super jazzed about that. They also have a skate night coming up and something that they refer to as a monkey assembly. I think there are going to be live animals there, and someone latched on to a monkey, and that's what it's being referred to as. So that's all I know. John Reed is going to have the Star Lab visit, and maybe Han too, because they have a science night coming up. The other cool thing that's happening at John Reed with the teachers is they're doing instructional rounds, which to me sounds kind of like something that I've heard in the last few years is like lesson studies. So they basically they get a sub for the day, and they go and they observe each other in their classrooms, and they love it. They do it every year, and they all said they just learn so much from each other by participating in this and going around and just seeing what their colleagues do in their classrooms. And we had some conversations in our meeting about PBIS, and they invited their colleagues at other sites to come to one of their monthly PBIS meetings, because they feel like they've got it dialed in. So that was really good. It's also nice that we can come together once a month and share our successes with each other. Let's see, TPA had oh, I think this is what happened. Yeah, they had the Rebounders fundraiser and the instruments and going on outdoor ed very soon. Lawrence Jones had a Harlem Globetrotters assembly that was really a huge hit with the kids, and apparently whoever came, like, you know, had kind of like a Hard Knocks story to tell, and that really resonated with the kids. They're also very pleased to have 2 new SPED teachers on their staff. They feel like that's really helping with the workload there. And there's a school play coming up. I didn't catch the title, but 2 of the teachers, Jill Zaks and Kay Hawkins, have been working on that. And they describe themselves as having a well-functioning, settled admin team. So that's good news. TMS said the Boys and Girls Club is crushing it. They've got a really robust intramurals program going on. They're going to be having a staff versus student rally this month, and they have a Cupid's dance coming up for Valentine's. And you heard from Tech High's rep that Mamma Mia is this weekend, and they're having their dance. And we also have several students from both high schools that have been selected for the honor band in the area, and there was actually one student at Tech High that actually made the all-state music conference, and we've got several that have made, you know, the local one, the NorCal one, but not all-state. And I don't know if you know this, but there is a student at Tech High who got a full ride to Stanford.
Wow.
Yeah.
To
Apparently, like,
Stanford?
you know, he does, yes, to Stanford.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, Damian Burgess. He does everything. He's actually the kid that got into the all-state music conference. So I thought that was definitely something we all should feel excited about. And at Rancho, Jen and some of the other site reps are going to be meeting with Heather soon to talk about the feedback that we had from our survey on our schedule, like our bell schedule, the 4x4. We just finished finals, and yeah, everything that I have was covered in the report. So Unity Week is coming up, and if you guys haven't been to any of the Unity Week presentations, you really should try and make it. I'll try and remind Jessica to send you a list of the things and times, because there's a lot of really cool stuff. We have a lot of guest speakers that come from outside, so there's usually like a Holocaust presentation, Japanese internment, things like that. So a lot of stuff that, you know, really is trying to, you know, show the kids that there's a world outside of this one. And my husband and I, we always do a presentation about the Peace Corps in Senegal. And so welcome you all to come participate. So those were all the highlights. There are some concerns, and when I kind of synthesized it all, it comes down to kind of 4 big areas, and the first is leadership and staffing. So, and it's not across the district, but that is a concern among a couple of sites. Discipline and student behavior still is coming up, and communication and follow-through, and then resources and programmatic challenges. And that had, the last one had a lot to do with outdoor ed and PBIS, just to share that with you. About resources and programmatic changes? Yeah. So it says there's some issues with school buses and field trips, counselors because they're spread so thin. I mean, these are all things that we've talked about. And then implementation of PBIS and just outdoor ed in general. So, and I do want to share with the board that we feel heard and appreciate the district's commitment to collaboration and finding solutions that benefit both our members and the students that we serve. This positive response reinforces our belief in the power of open communication and partnership in creating a supportive and effective educational environment for all of us. So with this productive collaboration in mind, we've been diligently working on our bargaining proposals for next week. And our goal is to get them to all of you, including the Board of Trustees, so that you're aware of, what we're asking by the end of this week. And we want to be upfront that this is not a small list of proposals, and it comes with associated costs. And we understand that the district is still facing ongoing financial challenges, and the recent fires in LA potentially will have an impact on the state budget. But however, it still remains a stark reality that our district is among the lowest compensated in the county. And to retain the exceptional educators we have and provide the best possible learning environment for our students, we must address fair compensation and working conditions. But we're confident that by working together, we can find solutions that are both fiscally responsible and support the needs of our dedicated staff. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and there's no report for California School Employees Association, our Service Employees International Union. So next up is receipt of official correspondence. SCO first interim report for fiscal year 2024-2025 letter.
Yeah, this is a standard letter from the county approving our first interim report that was presented to you in December.
Okay, any questions? Next up, differentiated assistance eligibility. Dr. Fields?
All right, so differentiated assistance is part of California's system of support for local education agencies. The overarching goal of the system of support to help LEAs and their schools meet the needs of each student with a focus on building our internal capacity and effectiveness in terms of addressing disparities and opportunities and outcomes. Eligibility is based on the results of the California School Dashboard, which we'll be giving a presentation and digging into a good deal of the details at the February board meeting. But those results that are displayed on the dashboard are what can make you eligible for differentiated assistance. There's 4 levels of support for the state. The first being universal supports for all, which is all the resources and assistance that are available to anybody. And then the second level is the targeted supplemental support or differentiated assistance. That's what we qualify for. And it's you become eligible because of the performance of demographic groups on the state priority areas, or not performing well enough in those areas. If you continue to have multiple years of performance for a particular group in one of those areas, then you can qualify for intense direct technical assistance, which is that next step again for 4 consecutive years. If you haven't made progress, then you can move to that level. And then the 4th level is state intervention. You don't want that. We are eligible for the differentiated assistance, and we'll go into which groups and for what reasons in our next meeting when we go into that detail. But what it does allow us for is that we are then eligible for assistance from SCO in terms of we can have access to a facilitated collaborative group that we go to meetings and they help us to identify what our urgent problem is, what the root causes of the issues are, and then we come up with a plan for how to resolve those with their support. And then we also become eligible for some professional development opportunities through SCO without cost. And that's our differentiated assistance. We were in differentiated assistance last year. We remain in it this year. Some of the groups have changed, and like I said, we'll go over those details at a future meeting.
Any questions?
Looking forward to hearing the details of how much assistance that is.
Okay, next up is our consent agenda. Any questions on item 9A through H? Okay, then may I have a motion to approve consent agenda items A through H?
I move.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence. Okay, item 10A, approval of course descriptions for Technology High School and Rancho Cotati High School. Dr. Fields.
Great, so we ask that you approve the American Ethnic Studies curriculum for the 26 school year. Just a little context. We have new legislation, AB 101, Section 51225.3 of the Ed Code, which requires that in the 25-26 school year, LEAs and charters who serve 9th through 12th graders must offer 1 semester of ethnic studies, and we have to do that for the next school year. Then the second part of the law is about the graduating class of 2030, not the freshmen for next year, the next year's class. When they graduate, they will have had to have taken 1 quarter or 1 semester of ethnic studies. So next year, we would use these courses, if you approve them this evening, to pilot and try out the curriculum. And then we would have a mid-year, get feedback mid-year to see how we're doing, and if there's any feedback from the community or the teachers or the students. And then that course then would be, we'd either do some edits if we needed to, and then that would be the course that we would provide for our students to meet the requirement. We had a public meeting in December where we went over the plan and how we develop the courses with the public, and then we presented here at our last board meeting these outlines for a public comment, or if anybody had any questions. We did have one public comment who was a parent who was in support of the programming and the courses. She actually happened to be also the person who came to our public meeting. And then there were some other folks that had some questions that I was able to reach out to personally. So that's where we are, and we ask that you approve these 2 course outlines for THS and Rancho.
I have a question. Is this in lieu of, is it history or social studies? Is it going to replace one of those?
Doesn't replace those requirements are still there.
Okay.
This is another class. It can be that you meet this requirement by embedding the ethnic studies curriculum into another course, and how we, and that's one of the options. Our courses are both courses that were either created from things that we already had or created from scratch using the model curriculum.
So I like what I saw, thank you. You know, I remember when I went to community college, I didn't get to hear any of these subjects until I was there, and I thought, geez, I wish I would have learned this in high school, so thank you.
So, question? Who's gonna teach this class?
So we have identified the teachers, and they have been part of doing the work of building out the course, and they've been part of a collaborative through SCO last year and this year to do so.
Right.
And in the presentations, it describes the experience level of the 2 groups of teachers and what their history and background is. Many of them have either minors in ethnic studies or are history teachers or English teachers that have already delved into the concept area.
Okay.
And then they've been part of a collaborative to use that model curriculum and build out these
Right.
courses.
Not to support people with years of experience and knowledge like myself, but my expertise isn't in this area. You know, I taught at Sonoma State in the finance thing. So for this to be, I guess you can't say that, but if somebody has studied this, they're going to be obviously someone that's more qualified to develop the class and share their knowledge and things like that. So it's interesting. I have a grandson that's a junior in the Bay Area and taking a similar type class, but the teacher has definitely experience, but definitely, I don't want to say biases, but expertise in different areas. And so the class is kind of driven that way type of thing. So as we go and we analyze this, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. We all have different life experiences, some of us more than others. Some of us have been exposed to some things than others, and, you know, knowledge. I mean, what you can read in a book is one thing, but someone who is experienced and can share things will make the class more beneficial, I think, type thing.
Yeah, and to that note, that's why SCO put together the collaborative. They have folks that are experts in the curriculum and the content areas, and then teacher groups that are going to try and how do we apply that? How do we put all that model curriculum into a course that I can teach regardless of what your background is?
Sure. Yeah. My other fear is this is California, and these classes, meet curriculum. It's I'm sure there's other states in the current administration. I'm assuming some people in the current administrations wouldn't support classes like this. They want everything just, they want reading, writing, arithmetic, and nothing else in school. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any directives from the Department of Education that filter down towards schools and things like that. So the future will tell. So, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the course description for Technology High School and Rancho Cotati High School?
I move.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Okay, next up, ratification of food service coordinator job description.
Yes, so we had a retirement. We'd like to thank Susie King for all her years of service. She retired during the holidays, and she had been in the position for many years, and the job description had not been rewritten for many years. So we needed to rewrite the job description, and because there was such a lag time between the time that that she resigned and the time we were going to meet again, we needed to get it posted. So we rewrote the job description, so we're asking for your ratification on this because we had to make some adjustments and get the job posted so we could have some candidates. So we're asking for your approval on an act we already committed.
Any questions? Okay, may I have a motion to ratify the food service coordinator job description?
I'll move.
And a second?
And I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Next up, Board Services, Financial Update and Planning, John Bartolome.
Hi, everyone. I'm here to answer any questions about either the enrollment and/or the budget update for the month of December. One thing I wanted to be sure that I mentioned, and I'll give you a little more robust report next month, because I just attended the governor's budget workshop today. But one of the things I look for or listen for is, one, the COLA and what the projected COLA is going to be. And, the Department of Finance projection is going to be lower than what we anticipated, which is what we were using since budget adoption was 2.93%. What they're projecting right now is 2.43%, which is a 0.5% difference, which could be, when 1% is $800,000 of revenue, 0.5% is 4. So for next year, we're looking at least $400,000 less. And I don't know, it wasn't a funny joke, but they were making bets at the conference today that, they have money that it was going to be even lower than that. Not by a lot, but 2.43 is where it's at now. Probably will likely be a little less than that, but we'll see, and we'll know that by May, I think. So I just wanted to give you that update. There was some good and bad news, mostly that the Prop 98 for next year is stable. That was the main theme that I heard today, besides the COLA, and which just means that the state is going to be able to pay for whatever the COLA is, and that they're going to be able to fund Prop 98, which is education funding, appropriately.
Just a side thing, from my experience and what I'm seeing in the construction industry, things are off significantly for 24 versus 23. And projection for 25 is probably similar to 24 unless things turn around. So that means I pay less taxes to the government, and that means other people pay less taxes, but also less income. So that's probably the reason why COLA is a half.
That reminds me, actually, last year, I believe they delayed, income taxes until November, and that kind of caused a problem. Well, they're offering that again to Southern California residents who are affected by the fires, so their taxes won't be due till October at this point, which I believe that's correct. Don't quote me on the month, but their tax returns are going to be delayed, which
Makes sense.
if they project like they projected before, hopefully they learn differently, but that created a problem for funding.
Have they projected business loss versus personal loss for Southern California yet?
No, that is not something that is
Okay.
available yet. And
All
they
right.
didn't talk about it.
All right. But that's a big hit to the economy, too.
Any other questions? Great, thank you. Next up, approval for the 2023-2024 School Accountability Report Card.
All right, since way back in 1988, when I had just graduated from high school, the state started to require that. All
88?
public schools, well, 87.
I graduated 100 years before that.
So back then, they required that all public schools who receive state funding should prepare and distribute the school accountability report card. It's a similar requirement as contained in the Federal Elementary and Secondary Education Act. The purpose is to provide parents in the community with important information about each school site in a manageable and regular way. Although there's very wide-ranging and big differences and variation between the design of school report cards across districts, they generally begin with a profile that provides background information about the school and its students. It summarizes the school's mission, goals, and accomplishments. But it does require that they all contain demographic data, school safety and climate data, academic data, school completion rates, class sizes, teacher and staff information, curriculum and instruction descriptions, post-secondary preparation, and fiscal and expenditure data. And so we have all of our schools complete these every year, and these are them for this next round, the 23-24. We look back on these.
I also wanted to add, thank you so much, Dr. Fields. I wanted to add that this is a very public-facing document, that when people are looking to buy houses, when they're looking at places to move, that this is a document that's very public to our community. So it's important that we share this information with our community, and the principles updated every year.
Any questions?
Hold on a second, I'm thumbing through just one. We have one for every school.
Yeah, there is.
I think that the key factors too show performance over years. And I guess we're gonna go over that on the dashboard next meeting. So, one of my major concerns is that the numbers are increasing from year to year to year type of thing. And when I see things that aren't increasing, we need to identify those reasons and come up with a plan to see how best to change that curve the other way.
That's a great point. And really, it's all that data you see is the data that we use to start the LCAP.
Right.
To come up with those goals. So that's a great point. All of the things that you see, so if you see a school and you're noticing something, that should be what we've noticed and has come out in the LCAP process, because we
Right.
use that data to help design those goals.
Right, but when you use that data and it goes into the LCAP, if you set goals and then measuring those goals, if we look at the dashboards next time, see where we're either not meeting those goals or exceeding those goals, and why. Why do we have successes here? Why do we not have successes here? Was it COVID? What are the things and identify those things. So you can adjust the LCAP accordingly to go from there. But it's a lot of data to look at. It's a lot of things to look at. So this is a starting point. So I'll dive in next month. We have the dashboards, and then try to summarize my questions going forward. So
Looking forward to it.
thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you for that report. Okay, item C. Oh, I'm sorry. Right,
Approval.
action. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the course, oh no, sorry, where am I? The school accountability report card.
I move.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Staying back on track, approval of resolution 2025-17, authorizing filing for application for state allocation board.
So our apologies on this one. We had brought it to you before, but we had put the wrong resolution number on it. It was a duplicate. So we are bringing it forward and clarifying that error. So our apologies for that. But you have approved this in the past. This was a clerical error.
Any questions? May I have a motion to approve resolution authorizing filing of application for state allocation board?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in, I'm sorry, roll call.
Roll call.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Nelson,
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye. Approval of Resolution 2025-16, African American History Month.
Yes, so this is a resolution we bring forward every year, and we are seeking your approval of the current resolution.
Any questions, conversations? May I have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-16, African American History Month?
Move that we approve 13D.
And a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Nelson,
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye. Approval of Resolution 2025-14 for Katati Roanoke Park USD to enter into a transaction with the California Department of Social Services for the purpose of providing child care and development services.
So this was in addition to the preschool. We have to approve this resolution in order for the funds to start flowing for our preschool, which is a pass-through. We are subcontracting with NBCC, and this is the resolution that the State Department requires for us to pass in order for that funding to start flowing.
Any questions? Okay, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-14 for Katati Roanoke Park Union School District to enter into a transaction with the California State Department of Social Services?
I move.
And a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Nelson,
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye. Next up are the first readings of policies. Are there any questions on the first readings for F2T? Okay, no questions, so we'll move on to item U. Well, U has been, will be carried over to another agenda item. Second reading of Board Policy for Administrative Regulation 1114, District-Sponsored Social Media. Any questions regarding that? Okay, may I have a motion to approve
I move.
and a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Second reading of Board Policy 5146, Married Pregnant Parenting Students. Any questions? May I have a motion to approve
Motion we approve 13W.
and a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. And last but not least, acceptance of gifts and donations to schools and district.
Yes, we want to thank Alan and Donna Johnson for their $500 donation to Monte Vista, and Donna Young for her $500 donation to the track and field group at Rancho Cotati High School. So thank you to our community for continually supporting us.
That's great. May I have a motion to approve acceptance of gifts and donations for two schools and district?
I'll move we approve 13X.
Thank you. And a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Future business and agenda items. Trustee Brown.
Trustee Brown's going to continue to bring up safety, so to keep me informed as going forward, where we are and, what's the various stages of addressing safety. I know we've had meetings and things, I just don't know where, I don't have it straight in my mind what's coming next.
Okay. Trustee Johnson?
In the future, I'd like to hear about some creative ways to tackle the class size, that's over 22, I believe. I saw there was a few of them that were 30 plus on the dashboard. And I know there's creative ways of addressing the levels of ability in classrooms with big classrooms like that. I just kind of put that out there.
Okay. Trustee Nelson?
Yeah, I know we've discussed it, training session a week ago, and looking, I guess, forward to discussing on the dashboard student achievement and some of the numbers for our students that we have on that. So.
Okay. All right, well, that convenes our meeting. We are adjourned at 7:05.